Hey Loam, I wanted to do some speed testing today, so Oh. Gosh darn it, the treadmill's not working. Loam, you couldn't at least let the treadmill still be here? All I wanted was to maybe earn a rosary bead. Whatever. I'll come find you in the past. Hello everyone. I'm here today hanging out with Loam because I remember seeing so many videos on Silksong about how to optimize this little treadmill Loam has going and how to get to the fastest possible movement speed in Silksong. But I don't want to do that. I wanted to see what the slowest possible movement speed you could get in Silksong was. And I figured, coming over to this treadmill would be just as useful for finding lower limits as it would for finding higher limits. I was mistaken in that belief, and that is why much of this video will be spent not here, but in Weave Nest Syndrome. However, what you are seeing right now is one of the few things I can gauge. I am going at Hornet's standard walking speed right now, and it took me a very long time to even gain one rosary bead from this thing. So it is definitely noticeable how much faster you go while running or while having flea brew or any other equipment on than the normal walking speed. I sped it up. That was 94 seconds of walking. So even Hornet's base walking speed is very, very slow. And that was not nearly enough for me. I was looking for the true slowest possible movement options. And what's sad about that is that this treadmill only works when you walk or run on it. Any other movement speed that can be determined from things like recoil from attacks, those were the movement speed that I were truly looking to record. And they just don't work when you're trying to record things with this treadmill. So that's why I'm abandoning Loam and going to Weave Nest Syndrome to test it out. But before I do that, let me show you some crazy things that happened while I was testing this treadmill. So obviously, it's a treadmill. It's programmed with some weird mechanics though. It doesn't react to pogos or any other forward movement, but if you hard turn after running, it will launch you off the thing. Again, this has nothing to do with the point of this video, but I can't believe I didn't know about this. If you want to look into those videos that say what's the fastest speed Hornet can reach, this is it, I think. I think if you combine all the speed boosting equipment and go on this treadmill and take a hard left, you're never getting faster than this, in my mind. Now that our shenanigans with Loam are over, welcome to Weave Nest Syndrome, the quintessential speed test location of Silksong. Our walking speed gives us 2 pips here, and while we have 11 platforms to go over, it takes us 7 seconds to cross all of them. Now, 2 pips is the highest number you're ever going to see in this video, dear viewer. Everything else is going to be 1 or basically 0. But the second slowest form of walking that I wanted to consider once I started this whole process of finding what the slowest possible walk could be in this game is just walking while holding the map out. It really doesn't modify your speed that much, but I think a lot of people would guess that walking while holding your map out is far, far slower than it really is. Because if we do this exact same walk with the map out, you'll find that going from 7 seconds, take a guess, dear viewer, how many seconds it takes to do this walk while holding the map. Guesses all in, whether or not they are, that was about 14 seconds. So I believe holding the map just halves your movement speed. And now that we're done with the boring and standard stuff for the time being, let me just go over exactly what I am talking about and looking for when it comes to the slowest movement speed in Silksong. Standard movement options, like I said, I've already gone over all of them. There's not that many, especially when it comes to wanting to slow yourself down. However, there are a vast array of non-traditional movement options that can get Hornet really moving at a snail's pace if you want to. There are 2 tools specifically that give knockback to Hornet when used. Those are the Rosary Cannon and the Silk Shot, specifically the Silk Shot that I repaired at Mount Fae. They both give you knockback, which you can use to move Hornet around. The Silk skills that Hornet has also have the ability to give her knockback, specifically Silk Spear and Rune Rage, which I didn't find out about Rune Rage while I was recording this video, so it's not here, but Rune Rage makes you go very slowly. And last but not least, I will be showing off the special Crest movesets. They all have their own unique needle strikes, running attacks, down strikes, many ways to move far slower than many people intended, possibly Team Cherry as well. And this is all very interesting and very slow movement to see. And coming off that explanation, we have the first Silk skill that can push you back, the Silk Spear. Now, it can push you back a decent bit, but sadly, we don't tend to have infinite Silk to use it. So I'm going to splice together a few more uses, and then extrapolate it across the entire length here.
Hey!
Factoring in breaks, it took around 7.01 seconds to cross one pad, meaning it'll take around 77 seconds to cross this whole race. Not quick. After the Silk Spear, we have one of my favorite tools, the Rosary Cannon, which, as you can see, is consistent, but it is a bit slower than the Silk Spear. That whole segment took around 8 seconds to get over, compared to the around 7 seconds of the Silk Spear. But more importantly than time for this tool, we have an actual financial cost to try and use this tool to cross any source of distance. So we used all 80 rosary beads to get across one platform. This room has 11. It will take 880 rosary beads to simply cross this speed test. If you want to look at like a standard size room, if we want to go left out this weave nest, it would probably take us thousands of rosary beads just to push ourselves to the end. So if you are highly rich and want to do something fun, use your gun of money as a transportation source. Our last item to test for backwards movement is the Silk Shot, the original version that Hornet herself repairs. And it is pretty much the fastest out of all of them. That being said, they would all be faster if they could be used infinitely and you wouldn't run out of tools and silk eventually. But in order to get across the first platform, it only took around 6.5 seconds. Maybe a bit under, because a lot of my numbers are not exact. But yeah, if you want to fly around using a tool and you have no qualms about downloading some mod to use it infinitely, the Silk Shot is the fastest. However, if you're like me and you want to torture yourself, and you specifically want to use a tool, the Rosary Cannon is the slowest, and it's a lot more fun. However, those tools pale in comparison to the true slowness available from Crest. Yes, Team Cherry designed many unique movesets for Crest in this game. The Architect, for example, almost every ability you get with the Architect's Crest moves you forward to some degree. However, it's actually a good movement alternative, so we don't care about it for this video. You've got crests like the Witch, which don't move you forward at all. A rarity when it comes to all of the crest movement abilities, and generally the way they inch you forward to get towards an enemy in many ways. But that's mainly the point I'm making. You have a lot of crests that don't move you forward. You have a lot of crests that move you forward far more than we are looking for, like the Beast Crest charge attack. And what we're left with for the slowest options are Hunter, Reaper, and most importantly of all, Shaman. Not most importantly of all because Shaman has the slowest moves, but because pretty much all of Shaman's moves knock you back, so they all give you a very tiny amount of movement. And while Shaman's Crest isn't the slowest movement option in the game, it gets very slow. As you can see, I have sped up how long it takes to get across this entire section with just Shaman Crest charge attacks by around 8 times. And that's because this is by far the longest traversal of this whole speed test that you've probably seen in your life. And it's also not even the longest traversal you're going to see in this video, because I have a much worse one after this. All that being said, if you are only using Needle Strike with the Shaman Crest, it will take you around 4 minutes and 7 seconds to get all the way across this one tiny section of a weave nest in Silksong. Now, there was another Needle Strike charge attack. There are multiple other ones that move you. The Hunter's Crest charge attack moves you backwards a bit. That one is much faster and much more viable as a movement option. You can do the down strike with the Shaman Crest, and that's also much faster than using the charge attack. But again, this video is not about finding the fastest or even the most reasonable movement options in this game. This video is about what is the slowest. And what is the slowest movement option in this game? The Reaper Crest charge attack. I just can't escape this crest, man. I made one video talking crap about it and not thinking about it for the first 2 months of this game's existence, and now it's got to be the sole purpose of every video I ever make, I swear. So standing attacks with the Reaper Crest don't take you anywhere. You may know the running attack gives you that vertical distance, but that's a lot of distance, and we want a little distance. And I assumed this charge attack would not move you, but look at my feet. I started at the left side of that little nub there. And just by doing the charge attack, Team Cherry decided to give it the tiniest amount of knockback in the world. Compare that knockback to the knockback you just saw with the Shaman Crest. Even Grandmother Silk is mad about this existence because this has answered my question and has now forced me to spend the remaining large portion of my life trying to complete this room using only this charge attack. And let me tell you, dear viewer, it was not easy. The Shaman Crest charge attack I had to raise to ×8 speed. This one I had to raise to ×16. And that is because instead of taking 4 minutes to cross the room, this one took 11 minutes. When we were going from the tools, they were usually around 1 minute, like 70 seconds. Then we got the Shaman Crest, big jump, 4 minutes, 4 times as long. Whoop-de-doo. This is 11 times as long as it takes using tools. And the sad part is, you could feasibly do a Reaper Crest charge attack only run as your only form of movement, because this isn't reliant on materials. You don't need to have silk for this. Someone is now going to be able to do this challenge run because I've put out this video. Because you know people want to do challenge runs based on this kind of useless information, and that's why I feel sorry for them. And yet, I must keep going, because at this point, I am nearly done with this whole video, and I can't just throw it away. Information needs to be shared, even if it's shared with people who will use it for the wrong reasons, like for a masochistic desire to make them hate a game that, for all intents and purposes, should be loved by playing it in ways the developers never wanted them to. No, I'm not talking about myself. What do you say? But anyway, here is the ranking of everything I've tested in this video. The slowest big surprise is the Reaper Crest charge attack. Everything else is relatively slow, but there's orders of magnitude to this thing. You can see the difference between normal walking speed and this monstrosity. Well, thank you for watching, dear viewer. This information dissemination may have caused problems for some people, including myself, since I had to walk for 11 minutes straight while pressing a button over and over again. And that wasn't fun, but I'm glad I could have made it regardless. I hope everyone watching this has a great day. Don't go this slow.